One of the initiatives that's gained a lot of traction here in Cannes at the Cannes Lions is the Stereotype Alliance. I want to talk more about it with a very special guest, Mlambo-Ngcuka, the Executive Director for UN Women. Thank you so much for joining us today. What's this alliance all about?
Well, this alliance is about the big advertising companies coming together to use their muscle to change the way women are projected in the media through advertising. They will be supporting UN Women and generally the 3.5 billion girls and women in the world to be projected in such a way that women are seen as leaders, women are not seen as weak, women are also not stereotyped into typical jobs that are regarded as women's jobs, and that also we are able through that to address the whole perspective, which perspectives that fuel violence against women, unequal pay, the different negative challenges that women face as a result of the gender stereotypes.
Why do you think that the advertising industry has such great power, such great clout over the image of women in the world?
Well, firstly, the advertising industry, their job is to make us think in a particular way. And one way in which they have used that power is to project women in as weak persons, as the lesser sex. And in that way, women have not been seen as valued members of society with as much power as men. So we want them to flip the script, to put men and women on an equal basis. Also to respond to the fact that both men and women do not like these sexist images about women. More than 80% of men and women find it offensive that women are not projected as equals.
I spoke to Keith Weed of Unilever, who of course is one of the founding members of this alliance, and I asked him whether this was just for the social good or whether there was a business impact behind it, and he told me yes, that this stereotype advertising, that garners a lot more interest, and actually from a business side of the sense, it does make a lot of sense. Do you feel that the advertising interest is acting in its own interest a little bit too much when it does this alliance?
Well, our interests coincide in this time. I do not have a problem if that also makes business sense to them, because that means that it will incentivize them to actually do more. It's important to us to work with these big agencies because they have an outreach that covers almost the whole world. They've got big budgets, much more than we would ever have. So to try and use our own resources to change their narrative is mission impossible. But if they change themselves, they change their messages, then it's a win-win.
What are the actual steps that this alliance is going to take? What can we expect?
So my ask from them is going to be, firstly, that they look into the adverts that they currently have and the contents that they use so that they can identify the stereotypes that are negative and impacting on women and girls negatively and address them. That going forward, they actually put in place mechanisms to evaluate all of the creative material so that whatever is being used goes through a process that identifies potential and real negative stereotypes about women and girls. I also would like them to invest in other initiatives that are addressing the same issues, and I would also like them to look within their own companies to ensure that they are fit for purpose, that they've got trained people who understand gender analysis, and that's also just even in terms of their staff. They have diverse staff. And of course, we're not just concerned about the projection of women and girls, we also are concerned about equality in general, disabled people, older people, indigenous people, LGBTQI. So we are pushing on women, but we hope this will benefit all other minorities that tend to be projected in a not so flattering light.
Is there a sense of commitment from some of these big advertising giants that this could go not just to women, but as you said, some of the other groups that you're concerned about?
Well, we're going to build the relationship. So this is the start. We are implementing one of the Sustainable Development Goals, Goal 5. The first part of Goal 5 focuses on ending all forms of discrimination against women. This you could do by passing new laws by repealing offending laws, by amending the laws. But even when you do that, the norms and stereotypes tend to undermine the implementation of legislation. So you need to pass the laws, but you also need to address the stereotypes so that as you change the laws, you're actually making it easy for people to embrace the new laws. So we need the two to go together.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.